Good morning, friends. Till the last class, I discussed about various aspects of hard skills and soft skills. Today onwards, I'll be discussing about the soft skills first. There's a big list of soft skills which one should imbibe, one should acquire for having a successful business as well as negotiation. I'll go one by one. Since it's a big list and the time is limited, I'll not be able to elaborate on each one of them. But in the course of the entire structure of the course, whenever each of these soft skills will come up, I will elaborate as necessary. Here now I'm going to give you some idea about the soft skills. The point is, last time when I was discussing, I was mentioning an issue whether there is a requirement of training and preparedness for the soft skill. Yes, it is. The reason is the soft skill is sometimes generic. It comes through hereditary, it comes through acquaintances, comes through experience and exposure. Sometimes it may be taught. Every individual, mind it, every individual is endowed with some level of intellection. The intellection, what does it mean? Basically, the intellectual capability by which one can always analyze something. Analyze what? Analyze something which he has observed. So, he has observed something, then analyzing it and comprehending it. So, this intellectual capacity everybody has. Only thing, the degree varies a little more or less. In fact, when you are going for business negotiations or creating marketing strategies or even for interviews or even going to the class, meeting somebody, these soft skills would always help you. So, there is a requirement of training to a certain extent and preparedness. Training can be given by somebody who can explain to you exactly what is to be done, but the preparedness is your own action. You must be prepared with the soft skills. If we try to see the soft skills sets, it can be categorized in these. But mind it, these set which I'll tell you now, they can also be subcategorized. There's no point, arguing on or contesting this could have been structured in that or this does not come under this. Basically what happens is the entire set is in front of you. You categorize the way you want. You imbibe the way you want, you practice it. So, the one is the personal skills. What is this personal skills? Every individual inherits, there may be an intrinsic capability of you, there may be an inherent quality in you which you are trying to express through various soft skills. But whatever it is, this set of soft skills is very, very person-centric, very, very person-centric. You have to imbibe yourself. You may tell somebody, you may teach somebody, you may train somebody, but the thing is, you own it. So, this skill is very important. The point is, this skill is important when you are manifesting, you are going to somebody, you are trying to socialize, you are going to mix, you are going to sell, you are going to negotiate, whatever it is. This is the personal set, which is a long list. And not that every item or every skill you would have or you would have to practice and imbibe, not necessary. There are certain skills at certain point of time is required. Then there is another set of skills, that is innovative skills. This innovative skill, some people say it's a creative skill. I would like to use the term called innovative for a reason. Creativity is something which you are making something. Innovating is, it just comes up at some point of time. When you are trying to have some actions, you innovate the way you do it. Creativity is a part of it. Artistic sense is a part of it. Then comes social skill. This social skill is basically, when you are mixing in the society, there is beyond you, there is another person. It can be one or it can be many. And social skill is basically you are trying to interact with people. How do you interact? How do you communicate? what kind of behavior you should have, what is the kind of ethics that you should follow. All these are under these. So social skill is when you have to, so the social skill is when you have to communicate in the society, what kind of skills you must possess. Then comes influencing skill. Here comes the real business thing in it. Every individual thinks of something, believes in something, learns something, and now he has to communicate and influence somebody else. That means here you don't influence yourself, you only imbibe. You are influencing somebody else. That means there is somebody else in front of you. It may be one or it may be many, and you are trying to influence them on something. Various issues will come in your life, various. Sometime you might have to resolve an issue. Sometime you might have to stop a fight which is going on between two. Many such things will happen. So influencing skill is another. This influencing skill can also include persuasion skill. That means you are influencing somebody. Basically, you are persuading somebody to do something, to buy something, to sell something, or to have some kind of actions. So influencing skill is very, very important. Then comes a very serious matter, specialized skills. Here people make a kind of comparison with, they say whether something learned and getting a degree is a specialized skill. So the conflict between the terminology of hard skill and the soft skill comes here. But as I explained earlier, there should not be any conflict. The reason is the hard skill has to be learned and it has to be certified. One simple liner of divisions is it has to be certified. Soft skill need not be certified. You may draw a fantastic painting, need not be certified. But if you claim that you are an artist, a qualified artist, then you have to have a certificate. You have to have a fine arts degree. That means the certification will make it hard skill, but in both the cases you are specialized. There are artists who has learned things by doing themselves. We call them as talented, self-learned artists. And basically, he or she is also specialized. So specialized is basically sometimes it can be used as professional skills. That means you take this as a profession. Why I am not using the term called profession? The reason is profession means people think that that is the occupation. No, not necessary. Specialized is you like it. You would like to do it for yourself. Not necessary you are selling your product. Not necessary you are getting something in return of your skill. You are specialist in that. You are expert in that. So that is a set of skills. Then comes people skill. People skill is something where you are dealing with people. Sometimes there may be a confusion that whether social skill and the people skill are same. In fact, it is not. Though there are many things which are common, they are overlapping, but there is a fine line divisions between the social skill and the people skill. In social skill, you would love to meet a friend once in a week, the same friend, the next week, the next week, the next week. That's social skill. That's not people skill. People skill is something when you are not focused with only one. There may be many in front of you. Essentially, political leaders are having strong people skill. They can immediately motivate a large mass of people and motivate them and make them believe the idea that he or she believes. That's how it is. So people skill is important. And the last one, I have kept it at the last, though quite often I think it could have been the first. But I kept it at the last because in one of my lecture module, I'll be dealing with this very much in detail. Though there are not many components in it, but it requires a lot of discussion. So I kept it at the last. My suggestion is that don't try to even order them. Order them means which one is first? Personal, communication, people, social, influencing, innovative. No. My suggestion is don't try to even categorize them. Don't try to even order them in terms of priority. I personally feel if you are in the business, if you are in the marketing, if you are in the profession, if you are in any kind of occupation, try to imbibe as many of these as possible. So now I am going to the list individually. So I'm discussing the soft skill sets, focusing on personal skills. Under personal skills, first is the action. Whenever, how do you understand the personal skill? All these items which I'll be discussing over here or narrating, not necessarily that for each I'll give an example, not necessary. I will try to elaborate briefly that what it is about, and if necessary I will just bring in one or two examples from my stock. Okay? Action. The first personal skill that you probably could have is the action. That means you take action. If you are inactive, then nothing goes on. Another note of cautioning here when you are trying to understand this. Every item that I'll talk about, essentially I have listed them in a positive tone. Each one of these items will have the opposite of it. If it is action, there can be inaction. If there is ethics, there may be unethics. The point is, I will not talk about such negatives in my list. I will talk about the positives, but sometime for some of these items, some of this each set, I might caution you against some negatives, because my intention of offering this course to you is essentially make you a positive person. A positive person did not have all the skill sets, not necessary, but whatever skills they have, they are positive. And I can assure you, dear friends, if you are positive, then wherever you go, whichever path you tread, you will definitely have success. Success may not be to the level of your expectations, but it would be. So the action is first skill. One of the skills is take action. There is a danger that if I keep on listing all these, you might think that I have listed them in terms of priority. No. Since there is a danger that you might treat this as a priority, what I have done very judiciously is I have listed them in alphabetical order. You'll see this. Action first, adaptability next. Alphabetical order. Each list. Now my suggestion is when you reread this list, first you will listen to me, I will explain them to the extent required. But when you read the whole list, you will find they're in the alphabetical order. Which one is important, which one is first, which one is a priority, that you decide. You decide depending on the context of the situation. You know why? Quite often, any one of the skill sets would be just triggered depending on the context, depending on the situation. So you don't bother about which one first, which one second. So the best and the safest way is list them in the order of alphabets. Okay. Action, you must have a nature, a skill of taking action. This is number one. If you take action, there may be mistakes, there may be pitfalls, there may be failures, but the thing is, unless you take action, you just simply cannot guarantee that there will be success or there will be failure. So take action. One skill set. Adaptability. You should be very strong in adaptability. Don't be judgmental. Don't guess. In your profession of negotiation, business, marketing, since I'm focusing my entire lecture in terms of business negotiation and marketing strategy, I'll be always giving examples or focusing on these kind of examples. In your life, other things also, the same thing is valid, but I'll always give reference to this. You should be adaptable. You meet a person for business. Either you are looking for business or somebody is looking for business. Whatever is the situation, you should be adaptable. You should not be rigid. You should not be judgmental. Have adaptability. You know why? The adaptability sometimes changes your mindset. You might be having some global judgment about something. If you are adaptable, somebody suggests you something, somebody gives you some information, then you will find, if you are adaptable, then you might find, okay, this particular suggestion very much suits me, is for my benefit, or maybe this other suggestion is detrimental for me. It may be discouraging. So if you are adaptable, if you are not rigid, then you will always get the benefit. Agreeable. Try to be agreeable when you find that you are not right and the person in front of you is right. Agree. None of us are really endowed with the host of knowledge that is available in the universe. No. You might have your some feeling or some information or some mindsets or some beliefs based on the exposure and the experience that you had, good or bad. But the moment you hear something is telling you some point which is not matching with you, and if you find there is a fairness in it, agree. And if you agree, I can tell you in business, if you really agree, then you get business many more. Note of cautioning, I am not saying that you agree though you disagree. No, don't do that. You agree if you feel it is right, because that takes you one step forward. If you disagree, then what happens is the person takes back himself, he holds himself. If you disagree, when you disagree when you think what he is saying is wrong, or you disagree because you think you are right. You think you are right is a dangerous phenomenon. It may so happen that you are thinking you are right, actually you are not right. How do you know that you are right? So the point is, if try to analyze, this is where your intellectual power is going to help you. If you are open, means open-minded, then if you are listening to some suggestions, then what will happen is immediately you will say, I agree. And the moment you agree, the person finds a comfort. And once the opponent or the opposite side person is made comfortable, then he or she comes forward with more suggestions to benefit you. So be agreeable. Aggressiveness. Aggressiveness in some context is dangerous, negative. But I am saying in terms of business, aggressiveness is a good point. Aggressiveness is going to take away your fear. Be aggressive. Sometimes I feel aggressiveness is learned by observing. It's something like in a game. In a game, a junior player is watching the senior and trying to see that the senior player is being very aggressive in manifesting the whole game plans or game playing. This junior might not have learned or experienced this, so now he is learning and he is watching the senior and trying to find out, if you be aggressive, then you go one step forward. But this aggressiveness should not be treated as a negative. That means don't be aggressive for negative purposes. Means being aggressive if you think that you can win over the other person, it's wrong. So whenever there is a contest, that means there is a force coming in towards you and you have to now resist, be aggressive. If you don't be aggressive, that force is going to take you backward. That is negative. But the aggressiveness, if you don't have, then every time, whenever there will be a force coming towards you, you will always be retreating. That is bad. So have aggressiveness as your soft skill. Amicable, a very strong point. Every business person must be amicable, must be polite, because you do not know who is sitting in front of you. I'll give a brief example. You are sitting in a waiting hall in a railway station, and there is another person may not be looking as smart as you, or in your opinion is not looking that smart. And you think that the person is less in everything, like caliber, your money power and everything. You think so. And you start talking to him, and the way you talk as if you are superior. You don't know. Maybe that person is a millionaire. His lifestyle is that. He is simple. He is simple. He is not opening up himself. He is not giving an idea of how great or what big money power he has. You are thinking that you earn few lakhs and you have a strong money power, but you don't know that this gentleman has crores. You may be earning few lakhs in a year and he is earning a crore in a year. The point is, you can win his heart being amicable. This is, I think, one of the quality every business person must have. Be amicable. Be amicable when you are disagreeing. Be amicable when you are refusing. Be amicable when you are not through negotiations. During negotiations. Be amicable if you are not agreeing to the terms and conditions. Be amicable if you are retreating and leaving the place. You have gone for sales to somebody. The person asks for such favor which you don't want to give and neither it is ethical to give. In such cases, I'll still say be amicable. Be amicable and tell him, sorry, I can't do it. I can't help you. I don't mind losing this opportunity. I don't mind losing this business, but I'm quitting. Say that in a very soft tone, amicably. I can tell you one thing, assure you one thing. If you be amicable and refuse it, the person opposite to you who might have demanded for a very, unethical favor, he will change his position. He will say, okay, don't bother. Don't bother about what I said. Let's talk business. Let's do something. So be amicable. One of the strong quality each businessman will have. If you ever had opportunity to meet any of the chairmen of the large companies, when you talk to them, in fact, you are nobody in front of that particular chairman in your quality, academic knowledge, in your money power positions. But you'll be amazed to see how amicable they are. If you go for a favor, if you go with a request, you'll find that they will refuse you strongly, amicably. So be amicable. Okay. Another important thing. In fact, each one of them is important. Each one of them. Appearance. When you're going for business, when you're going for negotiation, when you're going for sales, when you're going for marketing, whenever you are approaching somebody else, your appearance must be very perfect. It need not be that you have all branded dresses. Let me clarify very categorically. Some of these points, in my future lectures, it'll come up. I'll elaborate more. When I'll talk about the body languages, when I'll talk about the non-verbal communications, at that time I'll elaborate this more. But here, I'm just giving a gist of it. Your appearance should be very pleasing. Your dresses should be sober. Your dresses should be ethical. Your dresses must reflect culture. Your dresses must look appropriate. One thing, in your appearance, suppose you met somebody, an example let me give you. Suppose you met somebody with a very, suited, booted and all that. First time, he's impressed with you not only because of your personality but also for your appearance. The next time when you meet, he looks at you, he finds you in a very casual dress. I can tell you it will make a hell of a lot of difference. It will make a difference. That does not mean that every time you will be decked up with the suits and boots. No, not necessary. But the thing is, your dresses, your look, your overall appearance should be properly attired. This attire is important. You should not be casual because you are in business. I'm not talking about the personal life. I'm not talking about your personal way of living. I'm talking about the business domain within which you are performing, because all these soft skills I'm going to talk is for business. Okay? So whenever you meet somebody, you have a good appearance. Once I had given a clue to some people, a group of my management students, and initially they laughed at it. But later on, when they graduated and went to the profession, they called me up and said, "Sir, what a point you have said, and we are following it, and we are getting the benefits." You know what? You go for meeting a person for business. You have come by a vehicle, maybe public vehicle, and you are sweating. I suggested that before entering that particular chamber of the person with whom you have an appointment, if you are sweating, you go to the washroom. go to the washroom, wipe out all your sweats, take care of your hairs, take care of your dresses, look normal and good appearance. There's no harm that if you have come by public vehicle and you had the kind of, trouble. It doesn't matter. The thing is, you must look good when you're going to him. So you must appear in a proper appearance. This is important. Then, asking good questions. Whenever you are in company with somebody, then you ask good questions. You are always free to ask questions because in discussions, questions will always generate. Either somebody asks you a question, you have to give an answer, or you ask a question. During seminars, during workshops, you will find that there are some people who always asks questions. Anything, any topic any speaker is speaking, that person raises his hand. If you ask, anybody has a question, I found that one or two persons are marked. They always will raise the finger and say, I have a question. And naturally, all the questions are not good. Some are very stupid questions. And I have also seen a situation when the chairman of that workshop, who is moderating it, he may also say, okay, you have asked 3-4 questions. Now you please sit down. I have to give opportunity to somebody else. Because this person had been asking bad questions, irrelevant questions. What he was looking for when he was asking questions, not the knowledge. He was trying to make himself appear in front of everybody and mark that, okay, I am also here. That is dangerous. So when you are in groups, you only ask questions when you have a good question. Otherwise, you don't ask questions. Keep quiet. It doesn't matter. Your quietness does not mean that you are ignorant or you are not interested. Pay attention to the speaker, whoever is speaking, and then ask a question. If you really want to learn something or know something in addition to what has been spoken, and ask a good question. Asking a good question is a good quality. Assertiveness. Assertiveness, quite often by the marketing people, used wrongly. They assert. They are selling their own products. They are explaining what is the quality of the products and all of the technical details, and then they keep on asserting. Would you like to take it? Would you like to take it? I'll give an example. All these examples that I'll be giving, either is from my own personal experience or I have borrowed from other friends' experience, but I'll not name if I have borrowed from others because this makes it very sensitive. Assertiveness. Give an example. When printers, digital printers were coming in the market, plotter, since I'm an architect, I have experience of that. Initially, we used to draft it with hand. When the plotter was coming to the market, just before plotter came in, which does the entire set of plotting, there was one gadget which came up in the market. That gadget was, you have a T-square, you fix the gadget over there, it has a keyboard, just like a typing board, and you type and then press a button, it will just write the whole thing. A pair of salesperson came to us. We were sitting in the room and they were giving a demonstration. Somehow I had a good idea about that particular object because I have seen in some other places and I knew the menace of that also. Good and bad, both part of it. But my other colleagues, they were not exposed to this, so they were highly excited. And it was visible. They were excited. They said, oh my God, this is excellent. It's fine. It will solve my all problem. I don't have to write. They kept on. The more they kept on expressing their excitement, the person who was selling, he was sitting next to me. The immediate question he asked, sir, when are we getting the order? He almost took it for granted that since everybody is excited about it, so it is sold. The deal is going to be closed. I knew the technical difficulties of that, but what I did not like is the assertiveness. He was asserting us. He could have waited for the entire thing. He could have waited for the final reaction of the group, and he could have then got the order, but he was asserting. He asked me, sir, when are you getting the order? I said, sorry? He said, when are we getting the order? So he wants to know exactly when he is going to get the order. He is not really interested to know whether it is really fitting our purposes. This is what is assertiveness. My friend, I'll tell you, if you want to sell your product, show them 10 times. Show the client the product 10 times. but don't assert. You don't show that you are keen to sell it. You try to make a situation when you create a situation that the client tells that he's eager to buy it. Then only it will become proper. So don't be assertive, whether for business, whether to your clients, whether to your colleagues, whether to your friends. If you understand these, then I'll go to the other points. Okay?